Ricketts is at the high point. Jones, Rolatario has a lane. Nicholas Rolatario, the shot. Scores! Holy jumping! The Italian stallion puts the puck in the back of the net. Mamma mia, Nicholas Rolatario! Up the ice, short-handed, 2-on-1. Kirsten has Nixon. Scores! Holy jumping! It's a short-handed goal, and the Oakville Blades are running away with this one. Josh Nixon. McDermott to Israels to McDermott. McDermott down low, centering. Scores! Mamma mia! What a goal! Kyle Potts puts the puck in the back of the net in back-to-back nights. Tic-tac-toe. And the Blades passing comes to perfection. Block that shot. And coming the other way is Alton McDermott. He's on the breakaway. Scores! Holy jumping! His grandfather, Paul Henderson, must be ecstatic about that one because Alton McDermott just scored his first career Buckland Cup final playoff goal.
You're watching Mamma Mia! This is Fire Talk with Nicholas Fiore.
Everybody, welcome back to episode number 3 of Mamma Mia! This is Fire Talk. I'm Nicholas Fiore, the Oakville Blades play-by-play broadcaster, and joining me today is former Oakville Blade, Ross Sloan, and Sloaner, the assistant coach, and now promoted to the assistant GM. First of all, welcome to episode number 3.
Thank you so much for having me. First 2 episodes were awesome, so just excited I could be to be part of the third one.
Appreciate it. So you played with the Blades in 2013, 14, and then 2014, 2015. Pretty impressive. 88 games, 85 points. How different is the play from when you were playing to now?
It definitely changes year by year, but definitely it's gone to a more skill game, more speed. Back then, a little bigger bodies, stuff like that. But, we still had the advantage of the Olympic ice back then. So, we still tailor our game to an up and down kind of full speed kind of style. But yeah, I had an unbelievable 2 years in Oakville. It was unfortunate my second year. I kind of had almost a year-ending injury, so that kind of tailed me out. Only played 30 games in my second year. But unbelievable organization, great place to play, and nothing bad to say about them.
Pretty crazy. You played majority of your junior year, I believe, out of 3 years, because the first year was with the Mississauga Chargers in Oakville. You play Division III in NCAA in the States with sunny Plattsburgh, 4 years there, 38 points. But you come back to the Oakville Blades, and you're still a young guy. You got a future of coaching ahead. How eager and how nervous are you? Are you more nervous coaching than playing?
Yeah, honestly, because you can't control control really too much when you're coaching, right? Like, it's not like you're a player, you can jump over the boards and make a serious impact. And, it's basically up to the players to go out and deliver the game plan and all that kind of stuff. So it is a little bit more nerve-wracking, because sometimes your compete just comes through. You're like, I just want to go out there and, I want to play with them. I want to compete with them. I want to try help them win and succeed and reach their goals. But no, I love the coaching side. It's definitely it took a little getting used to being on the opposite side and stuff like that. But I love it, and I'm just excited for the opportunity that Jamie gave me last year and moving forward.
Speaking of last year, you were obviously came in as a assistant coach. How did you like it? How was your first year experience?
It was awesome. I knew going in, it was my first year coaching, so experience was lacking. But yet again, Jamie kind of took me under his wing and kind of, showed me the ropes, and I learned a lot from him. Not a lot of people can say that, they coached under a former NHL in their first year. So I'm very, very, very lucky and very blessed that, he gave me that opportunity. And it's awesome, and I cannot wait for this season to get started. Couldn't have asked for a better first year.
And obviously, you're going to stay on as assistant coach. You're now moving up to an assistant GM role, obviously working alongside Jamie, making trades and learning the business side of the game. What do you bring to the table in the Oakville Blades? Like I said, you're young, you got a bright future behind the bench, but what do you think you bring?
I think I'm just a young guy that just got out of the game. So I'm bringing some new aspects, some new light, just different looks. I'm trying to challenge Jamie a little bit. He's trying to challenge me. We're like bouncing ideas off each other. I'm just going to try to bring a new school look to the game because, it's definitely tailored to speed and skill and all that kind of stuff. So, as a young guy, I just want to come in and be kind of that player's coach, build good relationships with the players because at the end of the day, you want the players to play for you, right? You want them to win for you. And if you don't have a good relationship with your team and you don't have a good culture, you don't have a good identity, then that kind of slips away. So that's what I'm going to try and bring, just a little bit of glue between the coaching staff, and the roster, and also bring, a little bit new light, like I said, into the systems and development and stuff like that.
And is it easier for you? I know I relate because I coach, under 14 girls rep soccer team in Caledon. Is it easier for you to be as young, I guess, as myself and these players young with the relation, and you can relate to them more than, let's say, a 40, 50-year-old coach, even though the experience could be there if you're older?
Yeah, 100%. Just in like, an example like playing time, or maybe you're not getting, the power play time you want or the ice time you want. And I was just, I've been there, right? I've been there just a few years ago. There's games, where it's just not your night, and you're getting frustrated and stuff like that. And I can read their body language pretty well. I got to know each player on, a pretty personal level. So you can kind of see, what ticks them, what doesn't. So I think that's a huge part of being a young coach, going up in the ranks right now is I can really, really relate, and I can really, see almost right away when someone's a little bit off. And then, you can find out how to tailor the way you approach them differently than each player and hopefully get them back on the track. But no, it honestly is kind of scary how relatable it is to these players, because I remember, just a few years ago, I was in the same boat.
And with that being in the same boat, obviously you just came off a season, 2018, 2019 in the States there in NCAA Division III. How was that experience? Part one to the question. And secondly to that, how does that experience now help you behind the bench?
Honestly, I loved my 4 years at Plattsburgh State. Probably the best 4 years of my life so far. Met a ton of people, got friends in Sweden now, Russia. You get to meet a bunch of people, so it gives you that opportunity to travel. The hockey was unbelievable. The school was great. And honestly, I did learn a lot from my head coach, Bob Emery there. He was there for 4 years. He's, one of the most recognized NCAA coaches. His record speaks for himself. And I reached out to him, like my junior year and even my senior year, and was like, hey, like I want to get into coaching once my career's done playing. So he actually, kind of let me run some video sessions here and there for the guys and stuff like that. So he was really, really supportive of me, trying to further my career in the coaching. So I got to tip my hat to him. He definitely taught me a lot of things, over my 4 years there, leadership and stuff like that. He gave me the responsibility of being a captain my junior and senior year. So that was a huge honor for me, especially as my junior year being a captain. So, again, I just want to thank Bob because he definitely instilled a lot of good things that I brought to the Blades.
And now bringing to the Blades, it obviously we have to be halted this season with the coronavirus COVID-19 pandemic. And I spoke to Jamie Storr on episode 2, obviously the Blades head coach. And, I basically asked him, what could have this team done? Could we actually repeated with so many rookies and all that? From your playing experience, obviously not too long ago, and not because obviously you're on the bench and on this team, do you think the Blades could have had a chance of winning it all again this past year?
No doubt. The talent that we had, was by far, one of the best in the league. And Jamie did a great job with our systems and kind of, targeting our gameplay to our Olympic ice, because that's kind of a big advantage, especially in our league. And our goalie duo, that would have been huge in the playoffs. We got Will Barber and Adam Harris, who are two absolutely outstanding goalies. We had lines and holding down the back end. We just traded for Davis at the deadline. Honestly, I think we would have had a very, very good chance of doing a repeat. It's unfortunate the way things happen, but that's the way it went. So we're just focused on this year, and hopefully we can repeat again this year.
How excited are you for your new role as an assistant GM? Obviously, there's got to be more responsibilities, more duties, and obviously you're a little younger, right? So the mindset has to be there. How has it been, the transition, and are you ready for it?
Yeah, I love having a challenge. I think I am ready for it. There's definitely a lot more responsibilities. Trying to make trades, talking to other GMs and stuff like that. It is a little tricky. I'll admit, being a younger guy in the GM role, because there are like a lot of other older GMs that all know each other. They've been around the league, so just trying to earn that respect and just trying to sit at the table with everyone and kind of have some serious conversations. I'm sure is going to be a little tough at first, but once people understand that you're kind of involved pretty deeply with all the GM stuff, then I think it's going to be a lot easier and a lot more smooth, and I'll be able to get in contact with people a little more easier. But I'm super excited to learn a little bit more about the business side and all that kind of stuff. So again, I got to thank Jamie for kind of giving me a little bit more responsibility this year.
How crazy is it that, you've known Mike Tarantino for so long. He's been with the Blades forever. Obviously, tons of respect for Tino, and now he's with Collingwood. Obviously, I had the run with him 2 seasons ago, including Jordan Sellinger and Cole Crane and all of them there. But how crazy is it now that you're in an assistant GM role, and then meanwhile you got Mike Tarantino in the GM role in Collingwood, and now you're talking to each other on opposite ends trying to make a deal. Pretty crazy how this hockey world can come in full circle.
Yeah, no, 100%. I actually I played for Mike my last year, even though I only played 30. Full circle. We were on the phone the other day just talking, and 5 years ago, 6 years ago, I was one of his players. So that's the one great thing about the hockey world, though, is you meet so many good people. You make so many great connections. So am I surprised? No, but it is a little bit funny how it came full circle with that.
And it's crazy to see how, like you said, you were playing not too long ago for Mike, and now obviously you're an assistant GM, and you have a few other guys joining you. Obviously a few exits of staff members, and then a few entrances of staff members. We're going to be talking to Jamie Allison and Justin Pereira maybe later this week, but how excited are you not to work with also another Jamie, former NHLer, in Jamie Allison, and obviously Justin Pereira, university staff member, right, with the Varsity Blues there of USP. So obviously there's knowledge there, and you four together could be a pretty good thing for the Oakville Blades, could it?
Yeah, no, 100%. Like I said, last year working under Jamie Storr, an ex-NHLer, that's an unbelievable opportunity. And you wake up and now you have 2 ex-NHLers behind the bench that you get to learn from, which is honestly mind-boggling almost. It's such a great opportunity. And funny enough, I actually used to work with Justin, training kids at Canlan way back in the day. So again, full circle. We'll be working back together, and he's got a great mind for the game. He's amazing with video and the small details. He's had nothing but great reviews in his Rangers team. So the 4 of us are really, really excited, and we're kind of just chomping at the bit to get at it.
The rookies that we had coming back last year, the Blades had coming back last year, was okay, a pretty decent number. And now you could have, let's just say 10 to 12, let's say, obviously barring some deals and obviously some stuff that I'm sure will be going on in the near future. How important is that to come back, especially in junior A hockey, from one year to the next?
Yeah, it is important, right? But at the end of the day, you're going to have a lot of turnover. It's just the name of the game. But we're going to have a really good group coming back. We're excited. We're going to have a good balance of older guys, younger guys, couple rookies. We're going to have Adam Harris back, who's one hell of a goalie. So that really helps right then and there. You got him between the pipes that everyone can count on. Everyone has respect for him, and everyone knows he'll make the save. If you make a mistake, which mentally and for the team confidence is massive. So I think we have a really good group coming back. Hopefully, make a couple deals here and there and kind of finalize your roster to exactly where you want it to be. But I think we're going to be looking really, really good to the start of the season, and hopefully compete for a championship.
And that's the key at the end of the day, right? The championship. But obviously, we got to get started again. We got to get going.
Yes.
And obviously, I spoke to Marty Savoy, the OJHL commissioner. I'll say it's been a week now of doing this show. Can you enlighten us on anything? Has anything changed with anything of return to play or so far and so forth?
It's still kind of up in the air, to be honest. There's not really much to report on that standpoint. It's basically in Hockey Canada's hands, and kind of see how the stage two walkout plays on, and see how that works, and see if it's any new cases are coming up, or if everyone's happy with that, and then hopefully we'll have a season. It's still up in the air. Everyone's hoping that we will have a season, and I'm banking on that we will. But from our standpoint, we're still kind of in the clouds on that one.
Everybody, if you're just tuning in now, we're about maybe halfway through episode number 3 with Oakville Blades assistant coach and assistant GM Ross Sloan. And stay tuned, because very, very shortly we're going to have current NHL player and AHL player for the LA Kings and Ontario Reign in the AHL, Matt Luff, an Oakville native, just like yourself, Ross. And obviously Matt from a while now. He was a Blades AP also. Tell me about your relationship as we hope he comes on very, very shortly.
Yeah, I've known. Actually, it was my last year playing in Oakville when he was coming up to play in the Oakville for the Oakville Blades. He ended up playing in the OHL and had a. I'll keep going. So, but we basically just been golfing all summer. We've been golfing every day. He's been beating me every day. I'm getting close though, so we've had a great relationship, and I'm just happy for him to jump on, and I'm sure he'll be at my throat for my golf game. But
well, hey, we're excited. We're excited to have him hopefully very, very shortly here. But it's pretty crazy how obviously you see down the pipeline of yourself, playing sometimes with, or even anyone, right? You can play with a current NHL player, and you're like, wow, why maybe it happened for him, it couldn't happen for me. But obviously, life is a crazy road, right? And when you have those friends that make it, how cool is it? But not just that, like how crazy is it around an NHLer's world?
No, it's honestly, it's awesome. He was obviously undrafted, and he just kept going for it, and he ended up making a career out of it, which is unbelievable. And it's cool for all the kids coming through the Blades and even the OJHL. The more guys that make it out of even though Luffy didn't play in the OJHL, he wanted to when he was a 16-year-old and all that kind of stuff. And it's just cool for the kids to say, like, hey, like, this guy made it, was undrafted. Look at him now. He's got some highlight reel goals, all that kind of stuff. So it just kind of fuels the fire for the younger generation. So the more guys that end up making it, just pushes everyone else in the right direction, being like, you know what, if he can, why can't I? So I think that's great.
And obviously to have a few former NHLers behind the Oakville Blades bench now with Jamie Storr and Jamie Allison, obviously connections galore there.
Yeah.
How important is it to relay that information to your players that if you want it and you work hard, there's an opportunity here, not just to be successful in junior, but obviously furthermore?
Yeah, well, like no doubt about it. It's any kid's dream to be coached by not one but two ex-NHL players. Their connections are through the roof. They have the work ethic. They know the time and the effort that it takes to be an established NHL player. So when they come in and they're saying, hey, like let's get on the ice early, let's shoot pucks, let's stay late, let's do this and that. They're not just saying that, to sound nice. That's because that's what they did. They did all the extra work. They stayed on the ice later than everyone else. They did all that stuff. And that's why they had such, great careers in the National Hockey League. It wasn't just because they woke up one day and said, I want to play there. They woke up, they said, I want to play there, and I'm going to be the hardest working person. And at the end of the day, if you are, then the sky's the limit for you.
And obviously you got to work hard, and that hard working not just starts from the bench, but it starts from your veterans. And those veterans coming back is the likes of Alton McDermott, huge forward, Jacob King, Cameron Hatzianu, And obviously there's a few more. Stephen Whittle will be coming
Yep.
back. Well, second year, I guess, technically for him. But then there's a speedster like Jake Very. And then, on the blue line, there's Grayson Arnott. All of these rookies now technically become veterans in the OJHL. How important is it for the rookies to come in to lean onto the veterans? But I guess, let's say the 3-4 year guys like King, Hatsianu, and McDermott.
Yeah, I think it's huge, right? Because at the end of the day, if you're 16, 17, even sometimes if you're a first-year player at 18, you're going to be nervous, right? You're jumping into a league where you're going to be playing 21-year-olds and stuff like that. I think Hatsiano, King, Derns even last year did a great job, kind of in I would say like a second-tier leadership role. Obviously, you have Israel's, Lyons, and Ricketts who are the leaders, and they did an unbelievable job just showing a great example of what it takes to get to that next level, because they all had college commitments. But again, I think Hatsiano and them did a great job, and I'm expecting them to come through full throttle this year and kind of take over from the Ricks and the Izzies and stuff like that. And I think Luffy's going to come on right now.
All
Yeah,
right.
he's coming on right now.
All right. As soon as he comes on here, we'll get it going. So special guest, Matt Luff will be joining us very, very shortly. And then obviously we'll talk about Ricketts and Israel's and Lyons. The most skilled guy, he'll call himself, on the Oakville Blades. But how fun was it to coach these guys, and how much will the Blades miss them? Because they were very good players.
Honestly,
Very good players, I should say, actually.
That's a great question. They're definitely going to be missed. Like those three guys are definition of passionate hockey players, good for the locker room, great leaders. Those were the three guys that should have been leading the team. Lyons is an absolute character. What a great person that guy is. I tell you, it was a pleasure to coach him. He's got that little bit of like he likes to joke around a little bit, but when it's game time, he's serious. He's 110%, which I think is a great balance. I think it's good to have that. You can't it obviously depends on the person's personality, but Lyons hit that role to a T. Ricketts and Israel's obviously dominated the league last year. Again, they're both 20-year-olds coming back. So their play spoke for themselves. Ricketts held everyone accountable. Israel's held everyone accountable. Ricketts the same thing. So those three did an unbelievable job.
Have you seen more an impressive season from a single player, obviously winning the MVP and then the CJHL Player of the Year for Harrison Israels?
What a year. It's tough to compete with that. There's some great players in the past that have played in the OJ who I've played against, like the Dirges, and he played for Buffalo. He had 55 goals in 1 year. So that's going to be a pretty hard stat to beat. Yeah. But in saying that, I haven't seen a performance like Harrison Israel's put on last year. He definitely took the year by the horns and went out, and he wanted it from the beginning. That's another example of hard work and dedication. At the beginning of the year, he's like, I want the scoring title. I want to do I want to have the best year. He was on the ice first, on the ice last, setting great examples. And it didn't come to a shock to me that he led the league and won those awards, just because I was around him all year, and he has that pro mentality. So I'm sure he's going to bring that into the college game.
Absolutely. All right, Sloaner, it's about time. I think Matt Luff is coming in. All right.
Yeah, finally. We'll see.
There he is. He's got it all worked out now, eh?
Well, we'll see. Maybe not.
Sloaner.
Oh, there he is.
There we go.
There we go.
Welcome, Matt Luff, to episode 3 of my new sports talk show, Mamma Mia. This is Fire Talk.
Awesome.
It took a little while for you to get in. I know you were at the golf links over there this morning trying to get it going on the phone, but that didn't work out too well, did it?
No, it didn't. I ended up kind of dummying my cart a bit, went over a speed hump, and that didn't turn out so well. But we're here, and thanks for having me on.
No, you know what? It's an honor. Thank you. I mean, obviously we've had, Jamie Storr, former NHLer, and soon to come, hopefully a couple more former NHLers. But obviously you're, a current NHLer, current AHLer as well with the Los Angeles Kings, and obviously, with the Ontario Reign. So when Sloaner said, let's get Luffy on, I'm like, hey, if he's willing to do it, let's get her going, right? So honestly, though, I'm a young guy trying to go up in the business. So I appreciate you coming on.
Hey, anytime.
All right, so with the LA Kings and with the Ontario Reign, Matt, and let's get this out of the way first. Who's the better golfer, you or Sloaner?
I don't know.
I already said in the earlier when you were coming on. He beats me every time, but I'm slowly coming for him. Give me like 2 months. 2 months down the road, we'll come back to this and we'll re-ask the question. But right now, Matt is definitely the better golfer.
Take it.
All right, so Luffy's taking that one, and you're a young guy too, man, and obviously coming into the NHL and the AHL, you jumped in right from the O. Was it a hard transition going from the OHL right to the AHL and then obviously eventually getting your NHL playing time?
Yeah, I think at 20 and making it pro is kind of a big jump. I mean, you're going from playing against guys who are 16 to 21 there for overagers. And, I kind of had the chance to make the team as a 20-year-old versus coming back to juniors. So made out of camp there and then kind of just got my feet wet in preseason. And, I had a good preseason. I scored here and there and kind of just got, my feet under me and had a good coaching staff. And I think our team was pretty good. We got knocked out in the first round, but Texas went to the final that year and they were pretty lights out. So I think the jump wasn't too bad. I had a lot of guys I could lean on and kind of just progress as the season went on. And, my coaches were pretty solid. And I think the next year after that, making the jump too, I don't think the coaches or the leading staff I had, I don't think it was that easy, but they made it pretty easy for me.
And obviously Sloaner had the experience of the jump from, junior to NCAA, and you had the jump from OHL to the AHL. How different is the game, and how much more intense is it from junior basically to professional?
Yeah, I think it's kind of a bigger jump just because, at that point it's a job. Everybody's playing for, there's guys that got kids and families that, are just play the game hard and do their job. Everybody has a job to do. And I think that's what you learn is that, it's kind of when you're outside, you can kind of joke around, but when you get inside the dry stall room, it's kind of like you got to lock in and, you guys are buddies, but at the end of the day, you got to keep working up the roster and take someone's spot, and it sucks to do, but at the end of the day, they're trying to do it to you too. So, the jump's pretty hard, but at the end of the day, it's a job and, something's got to happen. And if you're not going to do your job, someone else will. So, kind of learned that like that. And that's why the jump, I think, is pretty hard because if you don't understand that, it's not going to happen for you.
You won an OHL Cup in 2012, 2013. But you're pretty lights out so far in the AHL. 85 points in 135 games. Even 16 points in 51 games in the NHL. That's pretty good for, the youngster that you are. Tell me about your first goal.
AHL or NHL? Are you trying to hear? NHL. Yeah, it was a pretty special night. It was kind of we were in St. Louis and had an old high school buddy actually who kind of messaged me saying he was in town, so I kind of left him 2 tickets, and it was my 6th game, and we were just going off there in second, and it was 0-0, and I was like, right off the D-zone draw, and we kind of talked about what we're going to do, and then kind of worked out to perfection. Hags won a big wall battle, and then it was kind of a 2-on-1, and Kempy's such an elite player with his skating ability, his hands, and that's probably a top elite saucer pass he put on my stick there. And, just took, I think, 1 or 2 strides and put over the glove. So, pretty special moment. I've dreamt of it since I was probably a kid. So to finally happen, it's pretty cool. And people ask me what to sell you. It's kind of just blacked out.
Yeah. I can imagine. I would do the same thing. I wouldn't even know what was going on. You just got to go hard after that, eh? As hard as you do on the links with Sloaner there.
Yeah, it's pretty special. But I don't know, Birdie putt and Wolf with Sloan is a pretty big celebration. So those two are comparable.
There's not a lot of celebrating when I'm golfing. There's more putter throws. That's about it.
Hey, Sloaner, he compared his first NHL goal to the golf game. That's pretty good, eh?
I'll take it.
Moving forward, with Anze Kopitar and Drew Doughty and so many of these other guys, Jonathan Quick, and I know you can name so much more. As an Oakville boy, obviously growing up and obviously a dream to play in the NHL, has it sunk in yet in your 51 games in the big leagues that you're playing with these guys?
Not really. I mean, at the end of the day, we were doing something kind of when I got home when the season kind of ended early here, and I was doing something, and then Quickie sent me a text, and I was reading it to my dad. My dad's like, if I would have told you back in like 2012, like Jonathan Quick would just text you about like, I think it was a TikTok I did, and what would I have done? And I've been like, I don't know, I wouldn't have believed you. So it's pretty cool. I mean, Dewey's just kind of down the highway here in London, and I mean, we still talk pretty good amount, and I think we'll probably have golf in a good amount too. So I mean, it's pretty cool to have and to sink in. I don't think it's there yet. I think when me and my buddies hang out and we're just like watching some of the Sportsnet things, and like if I pop on or something, it's kind of just like pretty wild to see. Because I mean, at the end of the day, I was probably a 13-year-old kid like sitting down in a booth watching those games, and to be out there is pretty surreal.
Yeah, I was just gonna say it must be surreal. You're probably, like I said, you're probably with Sloan, and you pop on Sports Center on TSN, and then all of a sudden he probably give you some good chirps there.
We were actually out on Friday at Beer Town in Oakville here because patio was just open, and I was walking to the washroom, and some guy like with a Habs hat on kind of just stopped me and was like, "Go Habs, go!" And I was just like, "Nice." And he's like, "Sorry to hear about the season." So it's just kind of weird like that, and so I mean, I'm not used to recognition. I mean, I'm sure guys that are higher standards in NHL are, but I mean, it's kind of weird just to walk to the bathroom in Oakville and just kind of get noticed like that.
Yeah, no, that's definitely a pretty cool thing, right? I mean, that's what kind of you work for and you dream for as well in this process. The AHL got canceled, and obviously you were in stride with the Ontario reign there. NHL, technically, there are still hopes. But how did it affect yourself and the team this season when you got the news that the AHL was going to cancel the season due to COVID-19?
Yeah, I mean, I think kind of sucked because I mean we were kind of 4-5 there, and in the AHL it's 1-4 make it there, and with LA obviously not going to be in playoffs, it's kind of a look for LA to get to come down and watch you if you're in the playoffs and see how you play in those types of games. And I think for me, those big types of games is kind of where I shine. I kind of like being in the moment and when there's a game on the line or a series on the line, it's kind of what I do, my thing. And so, I mean, that's where it kind of sucks most because I think we were probably going to go pretty far, and it would have been kind of a 1-2 playoff round, and that's what probably up to 8 more looks you get from the coach and the management up there. So, I mean, kind of sucks like that. But, I mean, I got 5 months here, so it's time to just put in the work, and when I get there, make a statement to be a full-time player there. And I think that's what I got to do. So kind of sucks, but at the end of the day, it's a blessing disguised with 5 months of just, go right to the grind and get going.
I mean, there could be a simple answer to this next question, but how important is it to really, really take every opportunity and every look that you're going to get when you hit the ice?
I think it's key. I mean, first impressions you can't do over. So I think whoever it is, I've played 2 years with the Kings, and I've had 3 new coaches. So I mean, those first impressions are huge. I think if you go off on the wrong foot, it's not good because at the end of the day, it goes back to that. If a guy has a good first impression versus you, it's kind of that could be one of the reasons. But I mean, it's just every opportunity you have to make the team or any league, you gotta do it. I mean, every kid should learn that you got to make sacrifices to make it. And that's kind of what my family's done for me. And even I did. I mean, I remember when we used to get ice after the Blades games when I was in like Bantam or whatever. And I'd be like one of a few kids out there from my team skating. And I was kind of like, oh, like, where is everybody? And it was kind of that time where parties were going on. And I was just like, well, like my social life's not there. And I mean, my parents kind of said it's either like social life or, it's get better at hockey and make it there. So I think, lucky enough to have my parents for that one, and I think they kind of showed me at a young age what it's like to take advantage of every opportunity given to you.
Well, I mean, hey, I don't think you're complaining now, are you?
No. So it's huge.
10 games with the Oakville Blades as an AP back in the 2013-14 campaign. 3 goals, 3 assists. You played with, I believe, Sloan a little bit there as well. I believe as you were getting called up. Let's get to first. Was he any good back then?
Yeah, Sloan was pretty good. I mean, he was a pretty good Super Bowl player in warm-ups, and then it kind of just transitioned into the ice. He was pretty it was a pretty good group up there, and I liked playing with those guys. I wish I was a full-time 16-year-old because I think me and Sloan's relationship would have grew a lot quicker than it kind of has just recently. But, I mean, things happen. I don't think if I made at 16, I might not have been the player who I was, I think midget was huge. But I mean, Sloaner and the older guys there were great, and I think that's why a few years later they kind of won everything. It's because they had that leadership down, and they kind of learned that if you do well, teams look at you, and I think that goes down to like Vinny, Soupy, and Sloaner here.
And, obviously, touch upon the Oakville Blades a little bit. You probably, maybe it is technically your hometown junior team. And looking from afar, I mean, they won it 2 years ago. And obviously, Sloaner now finishing his NCAA Division III stint there. And how well has this Oakville Blades organization ran over the years and now to be so successful?
Is this to me or Sloaner?
It's to you. It's to you, Luffy.
Oh, it's to me. Okay, got it. I think well, I haven't really – I kind of just knew kind of the guys on his team from the 97s onwards, but then I ended up knowing, like, Ricketts for a good amount, and I think they're just a good organization overall. I think that's why they win. I mean, you look at Tarantino when he was there. He's such a – when he was with the Patriots, he won there, and he came here and he won again. So I think anybody that ends up with Tarantino, I think you guys probably had 90% of the team committed to university with him. And I don't really know much about this year's team just because I've kind of aged out with those guys. But I mean, you just look at previous years, I think you got 5 committed guys every season. And I think that's something you look at versus other junior A teams around the league. And I mean, now with Jamie owning it, I have a couple guys in LA asking me about Oakville. So I mean, they're making their name around California too. So I think that's huge. And so I think you just see the teams growing and their success is huge. So I think it's good for the city of Oakville.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Oakville, I've been there for 3 years now, and not because I'm there. It's a classy organization, just especially for junior hockey. And, you can see where the strides can be taken forward. Just switching gears a little bit here. Obviously, you're at the golf course since it's reopened. But training-wise, it's got to be tough. While being off, obviously, in quarantine. I mean, quarantine, I guess, is easing up now. But how have you been during quarantine, and what are you doing for the training?
Kind of just took a month or 2 off. Well, I wouldn't say off. It was just because I didn't have much at the house and anything. I ordered a kind of home gym in Peloton, and it was up to like a month to order. So it was just trying to figure out things to do. So whether it was like rollerblades or whatever went on. But I mean, now it's kind of things are open in stage 2, so I think we can start heading back to the gym. I think I'll start next week, but it's kind of nice. It's a nice break. It's the longest I've been home for, but I think my parents notice it too. I kind of get bored. I mean, I'm not used to this relaxed lifestyle. I'm kind of used to waking up and having a schedule. Even when I come home for summers, it's like a month maybe off, and it's back to the gym and on ice. So it's a little bit different, but me and Sloaner have probably walked the golf course a good 100 times together. And so I guess that's where I get my steps in right now. But I mean, once the gyms open up, it's back to that schedule. And however long the off season, it's just, take it in every day and get better every moment.
Absolutely. And finally, moving forward and looking forward to the next season, obviously you can find yourself with, the Ontario Reign once again, but obviously you want to crack that LA Kings roster in a full-time basis, and you definitely have the capabilities of doing so. Are you putting a time frame on yourself to say, okay, I want to be in the NHL full time, because you are still pretty young?
Yeah, I think my time frame was start of last season. I want to be in the NHL. So as of right now, it's kind of just overdue for me. I think I got to look at myself and look at my season and kind of see where I got to be better, and where the coaches can trust me and put me in those situations versus some going, we should look at somebody else and I'm the guy going down. So it's kind of just, this summer, everything I do is just, it's benefiting me and making sure, like, when I get back to LA, like, my goal at fitness testing is to be number 1 on the leaderboard. And I think that's kind of a statement right away. If you they haven't even seen you on the ice yet and you're walking out top 2, top 3 on the fitness testing, it kind of shows like, all right, he's here to go. And I think that's where it starts. And that's a whole attitude thing. And that's where I think I kind of have to work on as a whole. It's fun to joke around, but then in the day you got to take someone's job, and I don't care. It's my buddies now. So that's kind of that's what I'm focused on this year. It's just everything I do is just zoning in and just getting ready and earning spots on the Kings.
And that's hard work and determination that obviously you got in yourself, and you're going to push forward. The next thing you got to do, though, is get your phone working properly. What do you think?
Well, yeah, that could be it. But there's not much service wherever I was playing today. I was playing Acton, so I blame it on that. But,
yeah, you're out in the country over there.
Yeah, I was out in the boonies, so that wasn't good.
What a track.
Out in the boonies in Acton.
Yeah, that's me and Sloan are across that course off our list.
Oh,
Yeah, never played.
Never going back.
Exactly. There you go. Listen, Matt, honestly, I appreciate this. You know, a lot of current NHLers sometimes don't matter the age, don't have a lot of time for, you know, guys like myself trying to come up in the business and, you know, give us the time of day. And honestly, when Sloaner mentioned right away, I know you guys are friends, but, you know, you still could have said no. And you didn't. And I appreciate it very, very much, more than you know. So awesome. And thanks for coming in on the new sports talk show that I'm
No, thanks for having me. I know the path is hard to get where you want to get. I mean, I didn't have the easiest either. So anytime I can hop on and help someone out is huge. And I mean, just to talk about my career and whatever, and just showing kids that, you know, it's not the smoothest path to be. Not everybody's McDavid. They're not first round from the day they stepped on the ice. It's, you know, you got a couple bumps here and there, and you might not get drafted, but at the end of the day, you know, I got where I'm going, and you know, I still got a long way to go. But I mean, just like you, I think just keep rolling with the punches and keep going, and it'll be good. So thanks for having me on.
No problem, and I appreciate it, like I said, very, very much. Sloaner, thanks for joining as well. It's all happened because of you, so I appreciate it.
No, anytime. Thanks a lot.
So everyone, Ross Sloan, former Oakville Blade player and current assistant coach and assistant general manager of the Oakville Blades, and Matt Luff, current number 64 for the Los Angeles Kings in the NHL and Ontario Reign in the AHL. Thank you to you both. Matt, thanks to our special guest. I appreciate it very much. Everybody, follow us on our social media platforms, including you, Matt. On
Perfect. Let's
Twitter,
do it.
Instagram, Facebook, at Mamma Mia, This is Fire Talk. This was episode number 3 of Mamma Mia, This is Fire Talk. I'm Nicholas Fiore, the broadcast voice of the Oakville Blades. Stay tuned, because Friday, episode 4, will be released with another former NHLer. Mamma Mia!
Hits it in. A chance here can develop, but the Blades will look to take it. And Ricketts finds Israel's. Breakaway, Israel's. A chance, backhand. Rebound. Scores! And the Oakville Blades win it here in Toronto. Blades win, Blades win, Blades win. Garvey to Josh Belgrade. Into the zone, Belgrade, Wyatt Allen. These two had some history from Sunday. Blades are in, Chor the shot, scores! Luke, Chor, he's in and makes the game 3-1 for the Oakville Blades. A little spin-a-rabba down low in front of Colton. It's Mamma Mia, what a goal! Game is opening up in a big way for both teams. Ricketts centering, what a pass, Israel's breakaway, the move, scores! What a goal for the Alaska Fairbanks commit, the assistant captain, Harrison Israels, with an absolute dandy, split from right to left, and had Colton Ince legs popped wide open. Now low to Lyons, Jack Lyons centering, scores! The double jacks combine, as that puck popped up like a jack in a box, and it's Jack Ricketts from Jack Lyons.
That was Mamma Mia, This is Fire Talk with Nicholas Fiore. Thank you for watching, and stay tuned for the next episode.